Managing conflict, understanding conflict, and conflict resolution. What is conflict? Lack of agreement or consequences about issues. Conflict resolution. Conflict is, in a simpler form, is a lack of agreement, a lack of consensus around a particular issue, especially when you talk about workplace conflict. It's a perception of one party versus another. It's a negative effect. It's a process that where both parties are not able to secure an agreement or actively seek out a common goal. And it's interesting when you deal with a lot of different workplaces. Conflict is generally there's a starting point around a decision or an agreement or disagreement. So conflict is everywhere in the workplace. So don't shy away from it. And this is what the video is about to help you with, is to understand what is conflict and how to resolve it. So what is conflict resolution? It's interesting when you think about conflict resolution. It's changing a adversarial, stressful or face-to-face relationship into a calm, mutual, respectful and satisfying side-by-side problem-solving relationship. It's building that trust and improving communication to address an underlying interest or issue. So when two or more parties find a solution, they can move past conflict very quickly. Assumptions about conflict. We assume conflict is a disagreement. Some conflicts can be minimized. There are some unavoidable conflicts that should not be suppressed or smoothed over. Resolution of conflict does not have to be a win-lose situation. Okay, strategies of conflict. There are different stages of conflict. There's different ways of looking at it. There's the crisis and what happens in that. Tension, misunderstanding. There might be an incident or something just that's discomfort. So there's different stages of conflict and different types of conflict. Common reactions to conflict, withdrawn. Some people just stop talking, become cold, resentful. That's the lose-win strategy. They withdraw from, any engaging in conversation. And you see that in workplace, perhaps harassment or bullying sometimes. Suppressing feelings, acting as if nothing's the matter, ignoring tension, try not to charm people, but put up with it. Lose-win. Trust and not looking out for own self-interest. That's a lose-win. Playing hardboard, sulking, shouting, violence, abuse, twisting the rules, that's the win-lose strategy too. So where do you get the win-win? Behave in a trusting way as long as the other person reciprocates. Okay, we want win-win scenarios. The problem with all these approaches, the other person is seen as an opponent, and you must shift that to a collaborative approach to a problem, not conflict. Fight or flight. The problem is when activating the flight and fight response, the brain does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. Okay, so you have a situation, an event that's dangerous or threatening, conflict. The brain activates the fight or the flight. So, naturally the chemicals in the brain start racing and you want to give a response. So there's, that biochemical changes occurs and your body is prepared to do one of these two things. What is real and what is not. Okay, so it's really understanding the difference between it and taking a breath, pausing and listening and understanding what is the conflict about. Reasons for workplace conflict. Believe they have an impossible job, loyalty to outside groups, concern is to find status, different values and principles, personality difference, resistance to change, perceptions that they are going to be harmed, unsatisfied need. Respect, pride, belonging, all these things are responses, are reasons for workplace conflict. Other reasons for workplace conflict: personality clashes, poor communication, competing needs, abuse of power, workplace bullying, competition for resources, authority issues, lack of cooperation, unmet needs. There's lots of reasons for conflict. But once again, what is the level of conflict? And a great question, out of 10, how would you describe, this conflict? Is it 10 out of 10 full-on lose-lose, win-win scenario? What is it? So understand conflict and learn how to identify it and deal with it, because you want win-win scenarios. Communication is the answer. And we've got a great communication video, which hopefully you've been through. That's the key, is understand that conflict is not physical, it's not personal. It may be just another person's perception. So deal with conflict from that point of view, and you should be able to create a great workplace where there is minimal conflict.